Greetings, 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 greetings. This is your brother Chief with another video, man. Like I said, I'm just gonna be dropping information like I always do, and we're gonna go. It's another one. Here goes another one. All right. Let me make sure I got audio on Facebook with this other live right here. In the meantime, I always want to give thanks and acknowledgement to our ancestors. You feel me? All right, good. Check this out. Now, somebody lied to us. You see, lies are always being told. You know what I mean? And it's a history that's been buried. But I'm bringing everything back to the surface. Because I gotta keep showing our people, man. We have been lied to. We have been bamboozled. You know what I mean? We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. All right. We are the American Indians. We are the Indians of the West. People have to realize that there's a difference. We've been here. We never came. And we should stand up and fight for our blood right. This is our land. This is our motherland. You feel me? So with that being said, I'm calling for all the American Indians, all the Aboriginals, you know what I mean? Like whatever y'all want to call yourself, it doesn't even make a difference to me. But the point I'm making is American Indian is in all the treaties, all right? And American Indian is in the resolutions. American Indian is in the Constitution. So that's our political status. This is who we are. And don't allow anybody to take that from you and try to call you anything else, all right? Because they don't have that, what we call de jure right on the land as an original being. That's not in law. So don't let nobody fool you, okay? Let's get into this. With that being said, all right, we were lied to. Over 16 million so-called immigrants, they said so-called because when it comes to, the pale-skinned people, they always call them immigrants and indentured servants. And if you're of a darker hue, then all of a sudden you're a slave, right? But we know it's all wordplay and it's all trickery. So at this point, we are going to do a little bit of reading, all right? And I'll explain a few things to everybody in a few, okay? So let's go ahead and share that screen real quick. And we're going to, because it was actually more than 16 million. It was more than that. It's just that 16 million of them were called immigrants, but it was literally up to 25 million names of immigrants, all right, that came through our borders internationally across the seas. And they came through Ellis Island between 1892 and 1924. However, I personally don't think those are the correct dates. It was manipulated to put the story in perspective. And I'll get into all of that because I'm going to show you when the Gregorian calendar was first used in the United States. So we got a lot of building to do. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen and let's get into a little bit of diving here. Okay. Check this out. When you go to family search, and I keep telling people, all these people that came from Europe, they are able to trace their ancestry from the moment their ancestors came here into the Americas. Think about this. If there is substantial documents showing what transpired in 1492 with Queen Isabella and Ferdinand, right? And they have documents of Christopher Columbus with his route, letters and everything. Varazona, 1524, letter to the King of France, describing the natives, talking about they have the same complexions with the Ethiopians. So I know they can't be talking about no pale-skinned natives. That's number one, right? But the point I'm making is they had records that they were keeping. How is that they cannot find these detailed records to show that we came from Africa? Let's think about it here for a second. But we are only seeing records of 16 million, 25 million so-called immigrants. Could the word slave be transformed to immigrants to kind of like trick us? I keep telling people, man, this is deep. And you have to read between the lines because you got to put the dates together. And when they told us that slaves were coming from Africa, but yet still the people that had the operation running the slave trade, they came from Europe, but at the same time, Europe was going through a black plague. Europe was going through some dark ages all the way up until the 1800s. They were going through the Black Plague. And I keep reminding you, King James died poor. Queen Elizabeth died poor. How in heaven's name were these people bringing people from Africa? The people who literally got the most loot from colonizing our ancestors and our land were the conquistadors. The Britain didn't come in the game until in the late 1600s, when they were literally getting into the game. And by that time, they were too broke to do anything. So when we are truly looking at the narrative of slave trades, we should literally look at the time span of when Spain and Portugal was running their own business. Not to even consider the first slaves on the American continent were American Indians. After that, it was the pale-skinned people. But nobody talking about that. Nobody talking about the so-called white people that came here as slaves, not as servants, not as immigrants. That history is being buried. They came here even before the so-called black Europeans who came here as indentured servants and became slaves later. Don't let nobody fool you with that Africa nonsense. I'm telling you, it never happened. Give me the receipts. Show me the proof. But we just getting started. So when you go to Family Search, right, you get the records. You get the records and they show you the numbers. This is a searchable index of 25 million names of immigrants and international passengers who arrived at Ellis Island from 1892 to 1924. Like I said, this is just alleged now. All right. The dates, they don't add up. It happened before that. It happened before that. But it had to be put in a certain perspective, in a certain context to throw us off. Because they don't want you to know that in 1493, it was the American Indians that were enslaved. And in less than a year, Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand, they was like, "No, we can't do that to the Indians, man. Nah." Then they start bringing in the pale people of Europe as slaves. But they're not going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you that. So tell me, where they at? Where are they now? Why is nobody talking about that? And it was only after they couldn't stand. It was, I mean, they say it was about 1.25 million so-called white people. I personally think it was more, but I'm just saying that's what records are showing. Okay. And the point I'm making is they could not deal with the hard work and the heat. And that's when they started taking more of the so-called black people in Europe. And when they realized it was becoming a little more profitable, they swept the entire Europe with their criminals and their vagabonds, and they dumped them into the Americas, every complexion and every creed, even East Indians. All right, from Hindustan or Bharat. Because at that time, India wasn't called India. All right. Now, let me go ahead and stop sharing this real quick. And we are going to go, and I'm going to show you when the Gregorian calendar was adopted in the United States. Y'all think this is a game, huh? All right. I'm going to show y'all something, man. Hey, greetings to each and every one of y'all, man. Let me show y'all something, all right? Just pay attention, okay? This is beautiful. Check this out. Because they keep playing these games, but nah, y'all can't play these games with me. No. And I'm going to prove to you there's documented video. 16 million came through Ellis Island. Show me that information. You see, what they want to do is They want to backdate and talk about, so they backdated the information talking about we came from Africa, and they updated the information talking about they came here as servants, because the only record of people coming here on ships in such numbers are pale-skinned people. So they literally have to switch the dates. Don't let them fool you. Because the Gregorian calendar was adopted in the United States in 1752. And because of the Gregorian calendar, everything, you see what I'm saying? Everything seemed a little bit older than they were, or they are. But they trick us into that because, let me give you a typical example. And I showed you guys, like, you are actually older than you are. Because if you were born in 9 months, that means your birthday is supposed to be every 9 months and not 12 months. So you're older than who you are. So what they did was they used that same concept, all right? And they reversed everything. So instead of making it older like it actually is, they made it more recent than it actually is. It is all a trick. That's why they got you thinking you're younger than what you actually are. It was a trick. And I'm going to repeat that because most people, like I said, and I showed the video, they don't know how old they truly are. They don't know how old they truly are. You know the month, but you don't know your age in years. And I've proved it over and over and over and over and over and over again. Because of the Gregorian calendar, we went into a whole different time loop of time, into a whole nother stratosphere, whatever you want to call it, another paradigm, if I may, in time, where we had to forget things because of that ritual that was done. So everybody will talk about, oh, well, how come, you're the indigenous people and you forgot your language? Let me tell you something. It's longer than what they make us think. You feel me? And because of the spell of the calendar, the time warp that we went into, we lost it. It wiped out our memory. Because they put the blinders on, okay, and they flashed the lights in our eyes, and therefore we lost our memory. People think this thing is a game, man. It's not a game. So therefore, if you were born in 9 months, every 9 months, it's your birthday. If you were born in 8 months, every 8 months, it's your birthday. If you were born in 7 months, every 7 months, it's your birthday. Why are you celebrating your birthday every 12 months? So that means you're older than what you truly are. You are robbed. If you were born in 9 months, full pregnancy terms, you were robbed 3 months every time it's your birthday. So you have to add 3 months every time it's your birthday to get your true age. And I'm going to show you how to break it down real quick. All you have to do is take your current age, multiply by 12, which is the fake birthday, and divide it by 9. That's how old you really are. You'll thank me later for this. Now let's proceed. So the same thing happened with the Gregorian calendar and time and history and the history timeline. All those things happened way before, but it seems more recent because of the Gregorian calendar and the time magic, trick that they pulled. You feel me? It's like they went back into time and brought us back in the present, back to the future. Oh my goodness. Oh, Chief, I don't know if they're ready for this. I don't even know if y'all ready for this. But you know what? I'm gonna give it to you anyway. I'm gonna give it to you anyway. Okay? I'm gonna give it to you anyway because whoever is in control, they control the narrative. All right? Let us rock again. Let us continue to build. Let us continue to build. Oh man, this is crazy. All right, let's rock. So I just taught you how to calculate your real age, the age that you are right now. Take for instance, okay, let's say you're 20 years old. You're going to multiply 20 by 12 and you're going to divide it by 9 if you went to the full term pregnancy. If you were born in 8 months, you divide it by 8. If you were born in 7, you divide it by 7. The bottom line is the multiplication comes in with your current age, and so it would be your current age times 12, the fake year, divided by the length of time of your mom's pregnancy. That is your real age. Okay? Just so y'all know. Boom. Let's rock and roll. Next, we're going to look at some things here for a second, because the only record of millions of people coming on any ships here in the United States or in the Americas, period, is pale-skinned people. Don't let nobody fool you with the nonsense. Don't let them fool you. Don't let them trick you. Mm-mm. The first to arrive at Ellis Island was the SS Nevada on January 1st, 1892. The first immigrant to be processed at Ellis Island was Annie Moore, a 17-year-old Irish girl who arrived with her two younger brothers. And I guarantee you she wasn't pale. I promise you that. She wasn't pale, because they were taking all their people and dumping them in the Americas, because what they were doing, they were cleaning up the British Empire, especially England. They were cleaning up London and England, the same thing that Trump is doing right now. All right. Y'all gonna learn. Y'all gonna learn. But like I said, they changed the time. They changed the dates. They changed all of that so that it would fit perfect into the narrative that's being pushed. All right. Now we are going to go into the Ohio. All right. Ohio State University. Ohio State University. Boom. Let us share this real quick, because I'm going to try to go through this as fast as I can. All right. Here we are. OSU.edu. All right. Let's go to Ohio State University. We're going to scroll all the way down. All right. And what this art, science, boom, boom, boom. That was in this is supposed to be 1684. You see who the slaves are in 1864? But we're gonna read. We're gonna read. Okay. Mania ho de garage Kriken Slaver Tut Algiers, whatever language that is. Okay, but basically it says Christian prisoners are sold as slaves on a square in Algiers. Okay, don't let nobody fool you, man. And that's in 1684, but nobody's talking about that though. But that's in Ohio University. It's there on their website. When Europeans were slaves, research suggests white slavery was much more common than previously believed. So we're going to scroll all the way down, and we're going to go to the 12 million, right? They say it's 1.5 million, but you know, it is what it is. It says right here, okay, Davis said it is useful to compare the Mediterranean slavery to the Atlantic slavery. Trade that brought Black Africans to the Americas. No, of course, there's no receipts. Show me the records. But we're going to leave it for what it is. Over the course of 4 centuries, the Atlantic slave trade was much larger, about 10 to 12 million Black African slaves brought to the Americas. That's what they want us to think, right? But from 1500 to 1650, when transatlantic slavery was still in its infancy, more white Christian slaves were probably taken to the Barbary than Black African slaves to the Americas, according to Davis. They have the number here. I think they said 1.5 million, something like that. 1.5 million. That's what they said. But again, whether it was that or not, the bottom line is nobody's talking about that history right here, right? Right here it says, okay, the result is that between 1530 and 1780, there were almost certainly 1 million and quite possibly as many as 1.5 million white European Christian enslaved by the Muslims of the Barbary Coast. Let me tell y'all something. When I was growing up, right? When I was growing up in school, you know what they taught us? They taught us that, because I'm going to be honest, they never taught me about no slavery of coming from Africa. I'm going to just keep it real. But you know what they taught us in school? They taught us that the American Indians, and which the term that was used was Amerindians, the Amerindians were enslaved. And then when Ferdinand and Isabella, they felt, you know, we shouldn't enslave the Amerindians or the American Indians, they started enslaving pale-skinned people. That's what I was taught in school. I don't know what they taught y'all, but that's what I was taught. And then the story goes on to say, when all the so-called white slaves came into the Americas, all right, they couldn't stand the heat and couldn't do the work. And that's when they started importing African slaves. That's what I was taught. Okay. So when I say they never taught me that we from Africa, they never told us that in that island, because we knew that the Caribs were here, and we knew that the Arawaks and the Caribs and the Tainos are the same people. So they never taught us we came from Africa. But the funny thing is, when I did my in-depth research and I traced where the people from Dominica came from, they came from Antigua. And when I traced where the people from Antigua came from, they came from Virginia. Okay. So somebody's telling a lie. Somebody's telling a lie. I also learned about the Irish that was taken and sent into Jamaica, sent into different parts of the Caribbean. But those people were people of color. See, nobody's talking about that. What happened to the so-called Black Brits and the so-called Black Russians and the so-called Black Germans that was sent into the Americas? They were the people that they were calling Africans. But nobody's going to tell you that, though, because there's no proof that people came from Africa as slaves. But there's records. There is records that these people came from Europe. And there's records that pale-skinned people came here by the millions. And I'm even going to show you a video. I got my archives, man, to prove the things that I'm talking about. Let me see if I could pull this up real quick. I hope YouTube allow me to share this for educational purposes. All right. So let me hold up for 1 second. Let me see if I could find this. Give me 1 second. Whoops. Okay, I'm on the wrong Here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Let me see if I could find it. Give me 1 second, please. Let me share my screen. Now, this is a little movie from the Internet Archives. I have it downloaded. And like I said, I hope YouTube allow me to share it, for knowledge purposes. And it's all fair. I'm using the fair use rights. Okay, that's what I'm using to see if I could share these joints. So what I'm going to do, even before I do that, let me see if I could pull this up and go ahead and hit that real quick on the live Google. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Give me a second, please. Okay, they used to give the recording for that, but it's but they're not doing it no more. Okay, that's crazy. I tell you, man, these people, they're something else, boy. They're something else. They are something else. They are something else. All right. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. Anyway, I'm just going to say this is for fair. I'm using fair use, all right, to share that information with you all. So let's go into this. Let us go into this. Let us go into this. Let us go into this. Share my screen. And let me take you on a little journey. A little journey. And pay attention. I may pause in between, but pay attention. All right. Pay attention. Pay attention. This is class. We're in class right now. We are in class right now. Okay. All right, here we go. Let me play this. Okay, hold up. Where's the play button at? Where is the play button at? Also, let's hide this. Here we go.
Einstein, Garibaldi, McCormick, Nielsen, Perescopa.
Now you hear the names that are being called. All the names that these pale skinned people have here in the Americas, that were not the names they came here when they came on the ship. I want y'all to know this, man. I want y'all to know this. All right, let's go. I got receipts.
America at the turn of the century. Men, women, and children streaming to her shores from countries around the world. For 16 million immigrants, Ellis Island...
You hear that? 16 million. They call them immigrants. 16 million. It wasn't no 12 million, 16 million. Pay attention.
America at the turn of the century. Men, women, and children streaming to her shores from countries around the world. For 16 million immigrants, Ellis Island in New York Harbor was the golden door to the United States, land of hope and opportunity. Today, Ellis Island is abandoned and deserted, a stark and evocative reminder of the days when its grounds and buildings were jammed with future Americans.
Of course, Ellis Island is abandoned because they want to wipe out that this ever happened. You feel me? But they'll keep reminding you every single month that you came from Africa because of Black History Month. You see, my people don't get what's going on. Y'all don't get what's going on. Everything is propaganda. Why is Ellis Island abandoned right now? Why is that? I mean, of course, they rebuilt it, but I'm just saying, like, the whole history of that. And they completely forgot that they came in as the immigrants. Nobody's talking about that. You feel me? Let's wipe that out. Let's forget we came in as immigrants, which I know that wasn't the case because they changed the date. It was earlier than that. Whether they want to call it slaves, indentured servants, immigrants, I don't care what they call it. I don't care what they call it. The bottom line is they were poor people, vagabonds, criminals that was dumped into the Americas. And then replaced or took the name American while the whole system keep pushing us further away of who we are. And all what I'm showing you is verified and solidified by the definition of American in Noah Webster's 1828 dictionary. It showed you the switch. 16 million of them. It's actually more, because in family search, it's because you see, the thing with family search, they have documented records of people signing those documents. It says 25 million. Okay. You see that immigration line? So yes, even all of them, Donald Trump's family, Biden family, all of them, they people came in as immigrants. As immigrants. So a corporation was created so that they could share part of the responsibility, and it was given to them, and now they're trying to determine who's an immigrant or not. But y'all gonna learn though. Let's pay attention. They're being inspected.
What is your name?
Juan Antonio Garcia.
You hear some of the names? Garcia, Juan Antonio Garcia. You hear some of the names that's being called? And it's quite ironic to me, right? Over 16 million on video, but 25 million recorded in family search, came into our shores. Okay, we're going to use the term immigrants, and they get to be Americans without any hyphen, just Americans, right? But the so-called slave that they say that came from Africa, that did all the work, that built the entire country, as they say, they get to be African American and not just American. But y'all don't see the game that's being played. No, I'm the only one that's seeing it, right? I'm certainly sure I'm not the only one. Y'all don't see the trading places. You don't see the hijack.
Everyone over here, proceed along.
All right, look. They even, oh, let me show you real quick. They even have some melanated people that came as well from Europe. I keep telling people this is not a game, man. All right. Pay attention. They showed a few of them. Here we go. Now, look at the way the people dress, right? Now, they could have either came from Europe or they could have picked them up from the islands. But the point I'm making is, right, they're not going to show you people who look like this coming in as immigrants because they want you to, they want to push the slave narrative and make you think they came from Africa as slaves. So they will not show, they'll only show Caucasians coming in as immigrants. I guarantee you that wasn't just a bunch of so-called people of color that came in on through Ellis Island. No. Because millions of them came from Europe. The same way like the Caucasians, but they will only show you the pale-skinned people. Because if they show you millions of people of color coming from Europe, then it's going to start, people are going to start questioning. Hold up. So you're trying to tell me these people did not come from Africa? They came from Europe? I keep telling y'all, man, pay attention. This is not a game. But the truth will come to light, though. It will. It's all going to come to light. That's why I keep telling y'all, there was receipts. There is documented receipts of all these people coming in here. But what they did was they pushed the date forward to make you think it was more recent than what it was. Reason being, they had to take us through a time loop by adapting the Gregorian calendar. So everything was already happening in Europe way before 1492. When they told you they came into the Americas in 1492, no, it was before that. It was way before that. So Columbus knew where he was going because they were already using the Gregorian calendar. So it's like we were kind of like ahead in a sense, or we were back in a sense, and when they came there to pull us forward. But the point I'm making is they tricked us with the whole changing of the calendar, and it did something to the mind. And that's what we are dealing with. And that's why I'm saying there is records. There is records to prove and show that these people came, but they don't have records to show that we came from Africa, because we never came from Africa. And that's a fact, man. Well, you know, I don't have to play the entire thing, but I just want to show you I got the receipts. You feel me? I got the receipts to show what I'm talking about. I got the receipts. Let's proceed. All right, let's continue. And like I was saying before, we're going to go look at the meaning of American in Noah Webster's 20th dictionary. And you'll see exactly, I mean, we have to keep showing this, but you have seen it a million times, but I'm going to show it again for the purpose of this video. Reason being, and I'm always using analogies, right? We have documented information for a fact that 16 million on video came, but in family search, they have documented 25 million of people that came from across the seas. All right. However, these people get to be Americans. These immigrants get to be Americans. But the original Americans, they get to be called Black, Afro, African American. Why is that? Why are we not allowed to just say American when they are allowed to say American? I'll tell you why. And here Noah Webster's 1820 dictionary explains it eloquently. Let me tell you the reason why. Okay, here we go. American, a native of America, originally. So native only in that sense applies to the original people. However, the term native took a change when treaties started being ratified to replace our people. But it was applied to the aboriginals or the copper-colored races, even if we're not a color in a crayon box, found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. Those are native people, not just those on the reservations, but all these Caucasian people, they are native as well. Y'all don't get this, man. So they had to switch the timelines to make sure that the story fit their criteria, their agenda, their propaganda, to make us think that we came from Africa. And our people were so used to being called colored, when they switched colored to black, in their mind, you see what I'm saying? The subconscious mind is a beast. You feel me? Because once the subconscious mind is convinced of something, the conscious mind cannot let it go. So subconsciously, they keep pounding color, 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 you colored, you colored, you colored, you colored, and eventually switched it to black. So therefore, that colored literally, just it transcended to the idea of being black, opposed to saying copper colored. You feel me? Because if they had continued calling our people copper colored, our people would continue to fight being called black, because they know in their mind they are copper colored. But they had to take away the copper and just call you colored, 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 colored. And boom, this is what we're going to do. We're going to associate the term colored to only meaning black. And our people fell in love with being black. And they just don't want to let it go. They will kill you to this day for wanting to be black. And no matter what you tell them, they have to say black. They know they're American Indians, but black Indians. Like what? I mean, come on. There's no such thing as a black Indian, bro. There's no such thing as a black American. It's just American. There's only one American. Everybody else is an immigrant. Everybody else is a foreigner. Everybody else came in as a colonizer, man, and a settler. So if we don't want to stand up and take our blood right, this is our identity. This is our race. This is our inheritance. This is, I'm telling you, this is us. And we allow these people to replace us. And of course, like I said before, it was supposed to happen, but come on now. The spell has been lifted. So we no longer have to live in ignorance. We know what happened. It's being taught. We had to go through that time warp. We had to go through it. We had to. I'm telling y'all, man. Pay attention. All right. I've shown you this before, but I'm going to show it to you again. Here we go. We are going to go in law. We are going to go back in law, which I've shown you before. Indians in Black's Law Dictionary. And there was a case law. I read the entire case law. It was about a patent. All right. Go ask any of these Native Americans what anything they created and patent anywhere in the Americas. They can't tell you that though. But our people got all the patents though. You feel me? And because they were American Indians, they were giving them a problem to do the patent on the being American Indian. Go read the court case. People think this is a game. Indian, Black's Law Dictionary, an Aboriginal, an inhabitant of North America, and they give you the court case. Go look it up. Go read it. Take your time and read it. Okay? It was because of a patent. Go ahead and read that. And once you associate a patent to hold up an Indian, go ask any Native American what they invented that's been patented, or they stole from them and took the patent from them. Go ahead and ask them. Not a damn thing. Nothing. Nada. Zilch. Okay? Let me explain something to y'all before I go. Like I told y'all before, the civil rights did not start with us. You see, pale-skinned people, and not all of them, right? But the majority of them only step up when things start affecting them. So now we are going back into another era of what's called civil rights. There has always been eras of civil rights. And through every civil rights, Indians not taxed was supposed to be protected and not be a part of that. However, since we adopted all these different terms, it became our civil rights, because we gave up our sovereignty of being American Indians and took up colored and black. So now we were at the forefront. You feel me? For us to put a stamp on the civil rights so that those other civilians could get rights. People don't realize that. It's because of us they got their civil rights. Caucasian people were not called whites. Italians were not called whites. None of them were ever called white. Not even Asian Americans was allowed. But they had to do it through us to make us think we needed it, to trick us into passing the law, because we are the only ones that could pass law on the land, because we are the original people. You feel me? But we are going back into an era, another era of that whole civil rights thing where Caucasian people are going to start feeling the pressure as well. That's what's happening right now. Let me show you a video. All right, pay attention. All right, you hear this song now? Solidarity forever. It's another civil rights in the brewing. Another civil rights in the, we are a loving people. What's supposed to happen? It's all right. But now we're in a different time. We're in a different era. This is a new civil rights movement, and we're not civilians. You feel me? So it's time to mind our business and just fall back and let people do what they got to do. And let's organize and stand up and fall back into, or step, not fall back, but step into our blood right as being who we are. If people want to stay black and African American, let them be. If people want to keep saying they're from Africa, let them be. If they want to take flights and buy tickets and go to Ghana or Nigeria, wherever they want to go, because they're listening to Umar Johnson, let them go. They're going to learn the hard way. They're going to learn the hard way. Yes, I'm not saying that it's going to be easy for us here. No, but we're going to stand up on our land and proclaim and claim and declare who we are. We just need the numbers. That's it. That's all we need is the numbers. And we don't need everybody. We don't need everybody. The gig is up. I exposed the trick to you. And what they did was, because in Europe, okay, let me explain to you how the whole calling everybody African that's so-called black all over the world, right? Check this out. Africa, Europe, and Asia, they are one landmass. One landmass. So therefore, they could have walked into Africa and enslaved Africans. And when I say they, I'm talking about the black Europeans. It was the black Europeans that went into Africa and enslaved Africans. You feel me? They were the ones who did that. So therefore, but however, they were also enslaving pale-skinned people, the Slavs. And that's where the word slave came from the word Slav. You did. So once they started using Africans as indentured servants, they went into Africa and did that. They went into Africa and did that. So because the word slave, they took that word slave from the word Slav, which was Caucasian people, and they applied it to those Africans. You feel me? So therefore, anybody of a dark skin complexion, automatically, no matter where you are on earth, you're an African. And that's what happened. So when they came into the Americas, they saw all these dark skin, well, people of so-called color, all these American Indians with brown copper tone skin to a red bone to, as you know, as dark as you may even say they might be black, but they're not. Right? They didn't call them that at first. If you realize, they didn't call us black or African. No, they didn't call us none of those things. The first thing they did was call us Negroes of the land. Negroes of the land, Negro de Terra. Straight from American Indian to Negro de Terra, Negroes of the land. Then it started changing. Why didn't they call us Africans from all the way through? We were called Negroes before we were called Africans. All right. Let me show you when when they started calling us African American. Let's go into the etymology of the word. I've already shown you guys this years ago, but I'm going to show it to you again for the purpose of this video. All right, check this out. Boom. I showed you guys this years ago, but I'm going to show it again for the purpose of this lesson, because I have to keep showing. You see, that's the way they brainwash our people with repetitive information. So therefore, it becomes part of your subconscious, and then your subconscious, when your conscious mind is is looking for information, it goes into the conscious records, all right, into the unconscious records or the subconscious mind, and pull things out that was planted as a seed. You feel me? All right, here we go. African American. Let's read. And the etymology of the word, I don't have to explain to you what an etymology is, but we're going to rock. All right, let's go. Am I sharing my screen? I don't think I'm sharing my screen. I thought I was sharing my screen. Hold up for 1 second. Hold up. Wait a minute. I'm not sharing my screen. I'm almost done, guys. I'm not going to go past an hour, okay? So I'm almost done. Give me a second. I'm looking for African American etymology. Here we go. Da 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 da. Pa ba da pa 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 pa. Beep 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 pop pop pop. Check it out. African American adjective. So therefore, it describes something. All right, it's not a noun, so it's just a description. It's not a noun. It's just a description. So therefore, there is no noun for African American. So how can you call yourself a descriptive word? I keep telling my people, man, it is not a noun. What is a noun? The name of an animal, person, place, or thing. But it's an adjective. An adjective describes a noun. So if the noun is being described as an African American, then who's the noun? I mean, if you say Africa is the noun or African is the noun, which African is a noun, but we are not from Africa. So how can you be African American as a descriptive term? It doesn't add up. But let's read. There are isolated instances from the late 1800s. All right, from the late 1800s, because people think, and stop lying on Jesse Jackson, please. I know Jesse Jackson did what he did in 1988, but Jesse Jackson, for all you pretend scholars out there, Jesse Jackson wasn't the one who invented African American. Okay, that term was around since the 1800s. Facts over feelings. You feel me? Yes. He brought it back from 1969. He brought it back into 1988. But it has always been on the records since the 1800s. You feel me? So there have been isolated instances from the late 1800s and the early 19th century, but the modern use is a reinvention, first attested in 1969. In reference to African American Teachers Association. Okay, they were being called African Americans. You feel me? The Teachers Association. Why you think they started indoctrinating the teachers first? People don't realize that these colonizers, man, they play chess while people are playing checkers. This is what we're going to do. We're going to indoctrinate the teachers. then the teachers will indoctrinate who they teach. We're going to indoctrinate the pastors will indoctrinate who they preach. We're going to indoctrinate the bishops and the ministers and all of them. And when they go to their flock, then it will be easy to give the message that we taught them, that we want to teach the people. Same thing with the teachers. So therefore, that term African American was only attested in reference to the African American Teachers Association, a group of people that they put in a room and they brainwash them. This is who you are, and you are going to teach it to your people. I'm giving y'all this from a whole different perspective. Bars. Hold on for a second. Yeah.
Are you able to open upstairs for me, please, the door?
All right, hold on for a second. All right, guys, give me 1 second, please. Give me 1 second, all right? Hold on for a second. I'll be right back. I apologize, guys. I had to open up the door for my niece. She forgot her keys. All right, but you see, I'm breaking this down for y'all, man, in so many ways to show you how all of this was a setup. It was all planned. You feel me? It was all planned. It was part of a blueprint. It was part of a created prophecy. So if we take control of the teachers, then the teachers got to teach the students. If we take control of the mothers' minds and teach them that, oh, well, you have to sign a birth certificate, then we could take the children. You feel what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother video because I've already talked about that, right? But we're talking about the whole concept of being African American. It's an adjective. It's not a noun. So how can you be an African American? It just doesn't make sense. It don't add up. It does not add up. And like I told you before, it was a reinvention from the early 1800s because that's what they were teaching people, indigenous people. You are African American, planting the seed in their head. So now you got to teach the younger generations. And boom, it was reinvented and first attested in 1969. 1969. Why is it the first reinvention was attested to the teachers? Ask yourself this question. I'm taking my time with this, but let's proceed. Which became the preferred term in some circles for U.S. Black? Who made that determination that it was a preferred term? So if that was the preferred term, then what were we before that preferred term was coined to us? You feel me? And it became a noun or an adjective. You can't just change an adjective to a noun. Where they do that at? Not in English, not in the English language, not in grammar, because an adjective is always an adjective. That's why from the very beginning it says adjective. But how is this? It became a preferred term after the teachers were indoctrinated. And this is what you're going to do, teachers. You're going to take this adjective and you're going to tell people it's a noun, and that's who you are. The same way they took the word black and made a color, which is an adjective that describes a noun, and tell our people, you're no longer an adjective. We're going to take the word black and make it a noun. You see how foolish our people have become? And you have Umar Johnson pushing that, because he said he's related to Marcus Garvey, who was working with the Teachers Association, who was working with the Colonization Society. I mean, not the Teachers Association, pardon me, the Colonization Society. The man was a sellout. The man was an agent. So we read this again. It says, which became the preferred term. In other words, there was a term that was not preferred. I wonder what that was. I wonder if it could have been American Indian. And it was just in some circles until they took James Brown and put him on the international stage and say, hey, you know what? We don't want this to be just an adjective. This is going to be a noun. So be black and proud. And by the late 1980s, you feel me? And it says now, reports, Afro-American is now very commonly used in the Negro press. Afro-American is attested in 1853 in Freeman's publication. Why is it in the Freedman publication? Because the freedmen were American Indians, calling them Afro-American, the same people they're calling Afro-American in Mexico. And if we scroll down further, all right, publication in Canada, Africo-American, 1817. There's so many names we've been called. 1826, again, as an adjective, was common in the abolitionist and colonization home society. Y'all think I don't know what I'm talking about? Man, I'm done. I'm done. Woo! All I could do is just give you all the information, man. That's it. I could just give you the knowledge, give you the information, and you do what you want to do with it. You feel me? Much love and respect to my indigenous original brothers and sisters in Mexico. They call it Afro-American. You're not no Afro-American. You are American. Period. Afro-indigenous. Afro-indigenous. What is Afro-indigenous? I've never seen indigenous with an afro. Men and women have afros. They are Americans. Period. Take the afro out. Anyway, I'm good. I'm done here. All right. Y'all enjoy yourselves. Be good. Share the information. I know I get a little I get a little hype sometimes. I ain't mad at you though. I ain't mad at you. I'm just giving you the information. That's it. Just giving you the information, okay? I'm doing a class this evening at 8:30 Eastern Time PM. All right. If you would like to be a part of the class, my email is always in the link below. Send me an email. I'll make sure you got to put your name and number. All right. I cannot take emails and go through a whole lot of things with one individual. I'm just too busy. So you're going to have to come to the class, learn the information, and questions could be asked and in the class. But I cannot get 100 emails and everybody asking me all these personal questions about what they need to do. I can't do that. You feel me? I'm just too busy for that. So y'all going to have to come to the class and be a part of the community because we're making some moves. Like I said before, I am the Mr. What's Next guy. That's me. And I'm asking you, what's next? Now that you know you're the American Indian, what's next? All right? We'll talk. We making moves, though. Y'all going to hear about us. We making moves. You feel me? All right, then. Enjoy the rest of your continuation, man. I love y'all, for real. I've always loved my people. I'll continue to love my people. Whether they're lost or not, I'm going to love my people. Whether they think they are Africans, whether they think they are Moors, whether they think they're Israelites, whether they think they're Hebrews, whether they think they're whatever, I still love my people. But I'm not gonna beat around the bush and play the nonsensical games with people. You feel me? I'm not gonna do that. Because like I said before, our protection is in the Constitution and the treaties. And what protects us is our political identity as American Indians. That's who we are. So period, end of story. We have the highest authority on the land. We just don't know this. Because treaties, you feel me? And we go all the way back from when the first Europeans, the Black Devils, came here. We were called Indians. It happened before 1492. Don't let nobody fool you. That's just what they told us. Because the storyline had to be put in place. All right, then. We'll talk later.